up, I next want to introduce Will Stahl from NENA.
Hi, I'm Will Stahl. I'm a semi-retired educator from NENA, and I'm here to speak in support of the Clean Energy Jobs Act. I am a member of Sierra Club, and I do write an environment column for a local publication, but I'm also here to speak as a father and a grandfather and a citizen and an inhabitant of the planet. We have upcoming a lot of transition that's going to have to take place, and this bill can support that transition. Now, I think the science on global warming is indisputable. I know there's a lot of people who don't believe it. I've looked into it very much, and I find that I don't see there's any way around it. It is happening. This bill will help with mitigating that problem. Now, I'm old enough to remember the first Earth Day very well, which was founded by, of course, Wisconsin's Doyle. We're coming up on the 40th anniversary of that Earth Day. If you've been paying attention to environmental issues through all those 40 years, we've heard it over and over and over again that the people who are polluting can't afford to change. They can't afford to make the changes that need to be made. And every time when they've been pushed to make the changes, they've made them, and the industries have survived. They've survived and carried on and thrived. And so has the lakes and rivers and air that we have to all use and breathe. Now, there have been several transitions that this country has made in terms of technology over the years. If you think back, there was trails to roads to canals to railroads to airports, and in every one of those transitions, the government stepped in and played a leading role in pushing that transition, supplying the backing and the support that was needed to make those transitions. This is a similar situation. Even if you didn't believe in global warming, we have to face the fact that fossil fuels will run out, possibly sooner rather than later. And we need to be making that transition. In some ways, it's already underway. But we are also seeing that there's a tremendous resistance from industries who say they can't afford it. I think that this bill will help push those industries in the direction that we really need to go. Thank you.
We're certainly happy to take any questions.
Probably can't speak for all 12,000 people there, but what happens if this bill, when it goes through the process, starts to evolve and there's no longer a low carbon fuel standard, or they drop the idea of advanced renewable tariffs, or they loosen the language on nuclear? Is there a possibility that you could have this Clean Energy Jobs bill that loses the support of environmental groups?
It's always a possibility, and we'll be tracking it closely. I mean, I think that's important for the legislature to understand, is that people want to see significant change. They're concerned about our dependence on oil, climate change, air pollution, the things that folks have talked about today. We need to act in a way that does significant things to take the next steps to solve those problems. And I'll just say, other states are ahead of us. Minnesota and Illinois both have committed already to 25% clean energy by the year 2025. So we're kind of playing catch up at this point. So I'd say the provisions around clean energy and investments in energy efficiency are two of the most critical provisions within the bill. It's a comprehensive initiative, so we'd like to see it kept as strong as possible. There's a lot in there, but of course the legislature is going to take a look at that. If anything, we'd ask them to strengthen it. I mean, one thing in particular that they ought to consider is to look at investing in clean energy right within Wisconsin. Right now, as the bill is written, it calls for 10% of the energy to come from sources within Wisconsin. We think at least half of the 25% should come from right here in Wisconsin. We'll do the most to develop our own clean energy infrastructure, and do the most to create jobs here within the state. So there are some ways that they ought to look at actually strengthening the bill. And they certainly shouldn't do what big oil and the coal industry wants to do, which is to weaken it and take out some of those provisions that you mentioned. Yeah?
Can you talk about some of the places where you gathered the 12,000 signatures?
Too many to list, honestly. I mean, you're welcome to come up and take a look, but I'll give you a sense of it. The citizens are representing literally every Senate district in the state, so all 33 Senate districts, there's letters of support from, and at least 88 out of the 99 states assembly districts. So it's Again, Baraboo, Fort Atkinson, Milwaukee, Wauwatosa, West Allis, Green Bay, Appleton, Neenah, Stevens Point, Eau Claire, you get the picture, literally all across the state. But, I mean, I think today, just the fact that all these people have flooded the Capitol with public comments is no big surprise to me. I mean, if you look at, for the last 2 to 3 years, if you look at public polling, consistently, when you ask people in Wisconsin the question, do you want to require utilities to get more of our energy from clean renewable sources? That question has polled at about 90% for years. So the public very much wants this, and it's not a partisan issue in the public. It's Democrats, it's independents, it's Republicans. For some people, it's about climate change. For other folks, it's air pollution. For some people, it's keeping our waterways clean. And it's also energy security. We haven't even talked about that issue today, but it's the idea that we've got to become more energy independent to protect and preserve our own national security. So there's a host of reasons that I think people support this issue, and we want to be sure that the legislature understands. I mean, they've been hearing, I think the public hearings have gone well for the bill. There's a lot of people who have come forward to express support for the bill, but there's also some industrial folks, and the oil industry has been walking around the Capitol saying that we shouldn't do the low carbon fuel standard, that that's too difficult for us to get off of oil. I don't think that's the case at all. I think we can innovate in Wisconsin. I think we're going to have a cleaner environment and a stronger economy if we do so. Well, thanks everyone for coming. I really appreciate it.